Hey there, this is Laura with Potpourri of Life. I hope you're all doing great today. Before I go on, don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, and comment, and if you so desire, share with somebody who might find this of interest. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is how to make a sweet onion relish. I had seen somebody post on Facebook, a friend of ours, that he had made some. He didn't post the recipe, so I started searching, and there's a variety of recipes out there. So I settled in on one, and I'm kind of excited about it because I usually make zucchini relish. No, I don't usually make pickle relish because I don't usually have that many cucumbers, but hey, if God supplies that many cucumbers, then maybe I will this year. But usually anybody's giving you zucchini or whatnot, you can make that out of it. But this is, I had some onions on hand. I had 6 Vidalia, oh gosh, Vidalia onions, the big ones, and they're a sweet onion, and I really like those. Those are the ones I typically buy, although I do use the other ones. And I had picked them up for something else, and then like a couple days earlier, and I got that at a farm, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna make something with that, use it in my meatloaves, use it whatever. And that's why I'm saying maybe I could incorporate the relish into my meatloaf when I make it. So I'm gonna give you the recipe. And yesterday I went out and got 2 large red peppers when my husband needed a gallon of milk. So I said, hey, we got to stop and get that. So that's what we did. So we're going to start out with 6 large onions. And I am going to put this in. I've cut everything out so you don't have to watch me cry to the onions. That was a sad moment. All right, so we put the onions in. We put everything into the pan. I've got, before I forget, I need to put the boiling water over my lids because I'm going to can it. It's going to make about 8 pints or so, it says. I think it always depends on how much you use, whether it's going to be that. Now, as you know, I tend to put boiling water over my my canning lids, and the reason is, even though they might be brand new lids, these came in on the jars, so they already had a little bit of indent. I just do this to soften them. That's just my preference. I think it seals a lot better, but you know, if you're comfortable doing them right from the box or whatever, that's okay too. All right, so the next thing I'm going to put in is 2 large red bell peppers, all chopped up. Now, when they said to do the chopping, they said you could use a food processor. I didn't, and it would have made the process a lot faster. But I don't know, I find that the food processor makes things a little mushy. Yet if you do it really quick and a little bit at a time, that won't happen. I just chose I was going to do this. Very therapeutic on the red onion, the red peppers, but when I got to the onions, maybe I needed to cry. All right, so the next thing is, and by the way, everything's measured out, I think I said that, 2 cups of apple cider vinegar. Hope you're writing this down, especially if you like relishes. The next thing is 3 cups of dark brown sugar packed. I already measured it out, and all I had was light brown and a little bit of dark brown that was in there. So I just want to let you know that if you don't have brown sugar on hand, because we're all having trouble finding whatever, you can take a cup of regular sugar and put in a tablespoon of molasses. So a tablespoon molasses to every cup. Does it improve the nutritional value? Well, there is some great nutritional value in molasses, but that doesn't mean that this is going to make it better. It's just that the brown sugar is what's going to give this the flavor that we're looking for. So in goes 3 cups of sugar. And it seems like a lot. You can always cut down a recipe. You don't always have to go with what a recipe calls for. Remember that, because like, say you only have 2 jars or on hand, or you only have 1 onion and a small red pepper, and you don't have to use the red pepper just gives it a little color. you can change it down for what you have. If your garden isn't producing much this year, or somebody gifts you with a few vegetables and you don't want to make anything with them right now, most especially fresh vegetables, you want to use them up so they don't go bad. Don't let them sit in your refrigerator or on your counter. Put them to use. If you're not going to put them in your food this week, make it into a relish, or if you want. Okay, the next thing is 1.5 tablespoons of a kosher salt. This is sea salt. This is a real salt. It's not your table salt, so it doesn't have iodine in it. And we get iodine in other foods, so I'm not too worried about that. So this is a little over a tablespoon, but I'm going to kind of eye this. And the last ingredient is 1/2 teaspoon of cumin seeds. cumin. So 1/2 teaspoon. And that's one seasoning. I don't have it in bulk because I don't use it much. A lot of seasonings I grow because I do my herbs, but I haven't grown that yet, so maybe that could be next year. So I have everything in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook this. It'll probably take about 15 minutes to get the onions and everything all mixed up, and we want to get the onions to where they're translucent. While this is going on, I have jars in the oven. I already washed them in preparation to can them. So they're probably sterile right now because they've been in there while I've been chopping. The lids are getting hot. I won't have to worry about those too much. Hold on a second. Clearing up the counter here because once I'm ready to bring the jars out, I like to have a towel down so I can put the jars on it. So I will be mixing this up and chatting for the next 15 minutes probably. Got to turn the oven on. If we can't laugh at ourselves, then I don't know what to say. And I'm going to turn the oven off because it's been on for a while. So those jars are already hot. They will be fine to use. Now I don't know what else you might use relish in. Relish isn't just for hamburgers and hot dogs in the summer. Relish can be a side dish. So think outside the box, add a little bit of spice change to what you're doing for your meals. And and when you get your recipes and you decide something and you say, oh, I want to try that, try a little sampling of stuff, whether it's from me or anybody else, because what if you don't like it? Or if somebody gifts, if somebody gifts you with something and you ask for the recipe, again, you can make the whole batch, or you can make a little bit of it. Now, when things turn out really good, the nice thing about making this stuff is if I get extra made, you never know. You can always, gift it to somebody at Christmas time. The kids, I tend to make things for them, and usually now that they're all adults, they all get the same thing. And that's just the way it is, and sometimes they ask for something different, so I do that. But Christmas isn't always a surprise, if that makes any sense. Last year it was, but it wasn't, because they knew I was making the towels I make. I think I have some, yeah. I make these towels. These are about 10-inch square. I make them up to 12-inch square too. My husband and I use them for napkins. We use them to, we have a few things drying, and then there's a few extra cups. We'll put this on the counter and dry those items. We use them as napkins, and we use them for cleaning. So I have a variety of them. And that's what my daughter's like. My oldest daughter loves them mostly for cleaning. And so then I make some with just terry cloth, some with just flannel, and some with, whatever towel type fabrics I can find. So we like these. These are over a year old. So they hold up really nice. And I believe this side was from used towel, and this side was from new. So it's just kind of nice to have something that, instead of using paper towels, and that was the motivation behind it, because my husband, he was going through paper towels all the time. He would take a paper towel out to put something on to dry, and I'm like, what are you doing? Because it was on the counter. I'd find it after he went to work, and I'm like, why is this out here? So now I made those, and he loves them. We still use paper towels from time to time. Like, you'll see me using paper towels to use when I clean the rims. I sometimes use a clean towel as well. Oh, this is smelling wonderful. So let's see. So those are things that we do. Now, when you're out shopping, like right now, I can't even go to my favorite farm store because of the gas. Don't feel bad for me. These are choices that we're making. So I'm kind of looking forward to what we have in the garden growing. We don't know if everything will come up. We are grateful for what is showing positive signs. We got small peppers, we have tomatoes, celery. I think I showed in another video. Those look amazing. I'm not ready to cut those. I have lettuce. I'm going to start some more lettuce. I'm going to try carrots again. I didn't have luck with the first batch, so I'm going to try again. Although I do I grow carrot microgreens. So that's, I'm getting some of that there. So what are some of the things that you use Relish for? Comment below. Tell me what you use Relish for. I mean, mine might seem kind of humdrum and stuff like that. One of the other things I do, and I know I put it aside, is I save my seeds. And the reason I'm doing that is because some of the seeds I got in didn't germinate at all. And then I've heard that some of the seeds that are out there, some companies, their seeds are not coming in. Some of the seeds that I got, it was supposed to be a package of 25, and I got 10. I'm planting. It's like I didn't get enough. So I decided I'm going to do what I can to harvest my own seeds. And in doing so, this year, I had a spaghetti squash a little bit ago, and I just harvested the seeds, and it's coming up really nice. So if you want to be certain you're going to have seeds for next year, just harvest them yourself. Now, these were red peppers, and this is like 2 tablespoons of seeds. I don't know if you can see it. I don't want to spill them all over the computer, and then I won't have 2 tablespoons. But those are 2 tablespoons of red tomato seeds. I'm going to let them continue drying because they're still a little damp. And I'll let them dry for a little bit, and then I'll put them out so that they dry a little bit more on their own. And then once they're dry, I will actually take those and bag them up for future uses. But hey, if something gets to my plants for some reason, I don't even think I have any red tomato plants out there. Red pepper. So maybe I'll take a few seeds and try growing some of them. I have a lot of green peppers out there. And I haven't planted my mini peppers. I've got those ready to go. So I'm a little behind, but you know what? That's what the greenhouse will help me, is so that I can prolong the growing season for ourselves. And we'll see what happens. So, do you guys save your seeds? You may want to start if you don't. If you do harvest your own seeds, what seeds do you harvest? I was looking into how can I harvest my own onion seeds. And I mean, I'm not growing a lot of onions. I'm using like the green onions, the scallions and stuff. I just cut them down to having the root down there, and I put that in water, and then I put those into the pots. And I keep an ongoing supply of those onions, but that's only going to last for so long. So what you have to do with those, and I looked it up, is with onions you actually have to take the flower, and the flower comes out after the harvest of onions. So you're going to have a choice: do I pick the onions or do I save for flowers? But it depends. If you get a good harvest, there's nothing wrong with you grabbing those seeds. You can do that with a lot of things. The onions are getting a little bit more translucent, which is where we want it to go. So we'll keep going with that. I'm almost tempted to cut up my green pepper, because then it would give it like a red, green, and white color. That'd be kind of cool for Christmas. But I'm going to stick with this because I'm going to work with the recipe here and what I've got. But I think the next time I may do that, because I just like, it'll look very cheery at the holidays. So, and remember, your produce that you get, you don't have to spend big bucks for the holidays, folks. You know, times are getting really tough, and doesn't matter what class you're in. I've shared this before. Be practical. Be practical about what you can do if you want to be gifting. What can you make? What can you do? Now, there's some people out there that are not going to be able to can up relish. You don't have to can it up, put it in the water bath, and put the jars on and the lids, which means you don't have to make a big batch. When I was saying you can cut this back, you can cut the recipe back by half or a quarter, and you'll be able to enjoy the relish at that time. Now, say you want to do this at the holidays, and you've saved some jars, and with nice lids and stuff like that, you can still do the same thing and just do it closer to the holiday so that you can give it as a gift. I'm not sure if I'm doing jams and jellies this year, although every year I have a craving to do that. But I looked at what I had for jams and jellies, and with a few things going on, I won't be able to make it to the strawberry farm before they're done picking, which I'm kind of disappointed. But that's life. Sometimes that happens. But our garden has some strawberries in there, and I saw that some of the strawberries are coming along. They're turning red. And so far the birds aren't in there because I covered them. So I'm kind of hoping the squirrels and chipmunks don't get in there and get to them. So I have to get out there later today and see how that's going. And I've got some blueberries, but it doesn't look like there's a lot. But the raspberries look like I might get a nice harvest out. I mean, a reasonable harvest. And then, and if the gas prices keep going up, there's no way I can get up to the farm stand I generally go to. It's an hour and a half away. So a 3-hour drive. We're talking, yeah, an expensive drive, and it's just not worth it. So what I can't grow, I will go to the local farmer's market or to a local farm stand. And the only reason I like going up to the other farm stand is he brings in a lot of very unique fruits and vegetables, and it's just, and it's price comparison, it's cheaper. But when I add in how much gas is costing me now, I have to be economical and say I can't do that right now. Maybe I'll make one trip up there. We'll see. It's getting there, folks. You want to keep stirring. Some people don't, but I do. I mean, typically I would let this go and I would be fidgeting washing those dishes, because I have a thing about having the dishes done before the product is done. But since this is on YouTube, I want to make sure that I just kind of stay focused. And you can silence me if I'm talking too much. No, don't do that. So, but this looks like it's coming along really nice. I think just a few more minutes and I'll be able to take it out. I did not use pickling salt. I used just sea salt. Some people may ask, did you use that? But no, I did not use pickling salt. I do have plenty of pickling salt, but that's not what I'm using today. And the reason is I have plenty of the other salt. You know, I bought a big container of it, so that's helping me so I can do the preserving that I desire to do. I don't know if you can hear the birds in the background. Those are our chickens. Yeah, we're hoping to put them to work soon by laying eggs. But the other thing that we'll be able to do is, they're still small, so they can't stay outside all day long. They can't stay out on the overnight. And, excuse me. They can't stay out on the overnight because it gets too cold. Last night it got to about 60 degrees, which is fine for me. I get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I'll go outside, and it's like, but I was really glad that I did not put them out there. I think they're dying to go out. I don't know. They don't talk English. But they were just kind of jumping. When they heard me, they were just kind of jumping up, and they kind of want to get out of their little container. And they've gotten really tall. Okay, I am going to be turning this down because this looks ready. So, and that's what it does. It says, mix all the ingredients in a large, heavy stock pot. Cook over medium heat, which is what I did. You cook it all together until the onions begin to get translucent, so it's kind of clear. Those of you who have never worked with onions and you're new to canning or you're new to cooking at all, they get a little bit translucent. They're not white. They're just getting more see-through, I guess. So we did that for about 15 minutes. Now I've already prepared the jars. I washed them in soap and water. They were brand new from the box, but I still wash them because I don't know what's in the manufacturing plant, so I just feel safer. And I still do the same thing with my jars that I washed from the year before. So we get those. The lids are getting all together. Let's see, do I have everything else? I have one more thing to get, and we will begin putting these in the jars. My handy dandy lid picker upper, because it has a magnet and it pulls those out. Never thought I would do that. I'm not one for gadgets, but this gadget's cool. So that's turned off. I'm going to start taking the jars out. Like I said, I've got a towel on the counter, and what I do is I actually use my hot dog thingy. Yes, I use the word thingy sometimes. You'll have to forgive me if it offends you, but if it doesn't, thanks. All right, so I will be taking them out. They said about 8. So I'm going to take 8 jars out. And the reason I use this, even though I turned the oven off right before I started the video, I really don't like touching hot stuff. I mean, I have a tendency to burn here and there if I'm not careful, so I just try to be very careful. Alright, I'm going to move the sauerkraut out of the way. Yeah, I checked that last night and that's still coming along really nicely, which is exciting. What kind of ferment food do you make? Those of you who wish to comment. Alright, so this is done. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this right over onto the towel. And Mr. Ant, it's ant season, have you noticed? We don't always get ant, it's just I have to now wash the floor with peppermint with the vinegar on the floor. And then I don't have any problems. So obviously I need to wash my floor today. I always do when I do this because when I'm chopping, vegetables get down there, just like anybody. So I am going to take these handy dandy thing here. I'm going to just start filling them. Now I'm not going to have you watch all of the filling. I'm just going to have you see how far I put it. I'm not sure if I'm going to get 8 out of this. What I do to get the air out is I use a chopstick. They're inexpensive and it works for me. So I just chop it in. It allows me to see that I have more room. You know what I'm going to do? All right. You don't have to look at me. There we go. And then I'm going to put another scoop in. Yep, I splattered some more. So while these are in the canner, I will be definitely cleaning up the dishes first and then the floor. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to make 8. That's okay. My husband's not a big relish person. Actually, he is. He's not a big onion person. So he's not too excited about this, but I am. I am going to move these around. Now, and you really do want to wash your rims when you're making this because think about all the sugar I put in there. It's going to make it sticky. And part of the reason I wanted to do this video is because when I was learning how to make jams, it's so much easier for me to watch in person. Hello. And so that's why I do that. And you guys have seen enough of that, so I'm going to keep doing this while I talk to you. It's almost done. I thought I wouldn't keep talking, but this is almost done. There's just not a lot in here. So once I get it filled with the veggies, I am going to the reason I'm taking this out is so I can get more veggies in instead of just the juice and stuff. Hopefully I can make it nice and full. So I'll end up with this little small batch that I'll put in the refrigerator for David and myself. Because I know he'll try it. And I'll know then whether or not this is a go for future. And if not, it'll be a go for me in the future. Don't think that I'm insulting him. There's some things he likes and some things he doesn't. And the same goes with me. So I make him things that he enjoys and he, vice versa. We just kind of work this out. I can't believe everybody likes the same thing all the time. Okay, now this is, I bring it up to the rim. So one of them is fine, but I bring it to right about there at the neck. I'm going to get some more juice in the other. I only got 3 pints. I don't know what they were talking about making 8. That's the other thing about when you make something the first time. Don't be disappointed that you don't make as much as they suggest you're going to make, because this is what happens is, sorry, I need to get the towel here. What happens is a large onion to me might not be the same size that they used. I mean, Vidalia onions are pretty big, but maybe they shrink more, I don't know. All right, so what I'm doing right now, I'm happy with how they're full. I take a paper towel or a clean cloth, you can do that as well, and I wipe, here, let's watch. I wipe around the edges, even on the neck of it, because it gets sticky. All right, I'm going to do each jar. Now, I mentioned that I wash my floor with vinegar. I do not use apple cider for my floors. I use just regular because it's cheaper, and I add in the essential oils. Now I'm taking out, as you can see, taking this out. My towel was brand new and clean, so I'll dry it down there, press it down, and then plop it on. Now, there are some reusable lids out there. I'm not using them today, so you can do that. And the reusable lids are just things that, what they say is they're reusable. These are not. At another display I will share. Okay, so then I just take the rings and put them on, because now, and just kind of like finger tight. Not really tight. So I know men have a tendency to do it tight, not intentionally, just enough. If you do it too tight, they'll buckle, and so that wouldn't be good at all. So I was kind of hoping I would have 8 pints, but the water's hot. I'm going to process it, and I'm not going to complain, because you know what? I got some relish made, and I'm kind of excited about it, and it smells good, and there's a little bit left that I can kind of strain it and then have a little bit with lunch today. I might just put what I might end up doing. Hold on, let's get this in the water. I don't know, yeah, you do. I tend to just put this right down there. And as you put them in a water bath, for those who have not done water bath, make sure you cover the jar. This jar does not, you stay, does not want to stand up. Yeah, I don't want to. Come on. There we go. Let's move you over here. Sometimes that happens just the way they're sitting. Because you remember there's like a metal piece here to hold them in. Okay, that one seems to be handling it a little better. Then all I do is I cover it. Set the timer for 10 minutes, and then the processing will be done. So that's how I make a relish. That's how I make all my relishes, but this one I used a recipe. And when I make my zucchini relish, what I do is I use the larger zucchinis that we forget that are in the garden. I haven't grown zucchini myself, but I always seem to get gifted the big ones. I like cooking with the regular small to medium size, so when I've been given big ones, it's like, all I ever did was make bread, zucchini bread, and then it's just like, you know, you get kind of tired of zucchini bread all the time, so I started making zucchini relish. It's shelf stable. I'm not the only one eating it, although David does eat zucchini bread, and the grandkids like it too, so that's a good thing. But, you know, that I don't know where I was going. I got off tangent because I can't talk and do things at once. Or can I? But anyways, that's how I do it. I hope this is helpful for somebody who has never canned before. Maybe the recipe alone is something that if you've never made onion relish, you might want to try it. If this is cool, I'll sample it and you can tell by my expression how good it is. Now it hasn't sat or anything, but I just kind of want to taste the flavor. And I want to get a red pepper in that. There's not much left, so it's kind of hard to get a sample. Okay. Not a big sample. This has a great flavor. I think it's going to be really nice when it finishes with the canning process. It's going to taste great. Just settling in and all the juices building up in it. So 15 minutes until the onions get translucent. Can them up for 10 minutes and you are good, and you got a jar or a couple jars of sweet onion relish. Again, remember, depends on the size of your veggies, will depend on how many jars you'll get. So I hope you like this video. If so, make sure you do a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and feel free to comment and or share. Have a great day, and God bless, and have a great day.